Hello everyone, this is Pawan Inania, Assistant Professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication, Government Women Engineering College, Ajmer. In this lecture series of Signals and Systems, today our topic is Properties of Z Transform. In the last lecture, we have seen many types of discrete time domain signals and calculated the Z transform of that particular types of signals. So, the properties of Z transform, this is very important topic in signals and systems because we can use these properties to solve many types of discrete time signals. So there are some properties. First is linearity property, second is time shifting property, then scaling property, reversal property, differentiation property, convolution property, and conjugate property, and last is initial value theorem. So first of all, we are taking first property, linearity property. Linearity property means if we are taking two signals, which is the combination of two discrete time signals x1n and x2n. This is the combination of signal x of n is equal to a1 x1n plus a2 x2n. x1n and x2n are input signals. If we take the Z transform of these two signals, combination of two signals, then you can have x of z equal to n minus infinite to infinite, the combination of two signals, and the Z transform of these signals. So we can break this summation a1 x1z because a1 x1n multiplied by z to the power minus n is the x1z, and x2n z to the power minus n is equal to x2z. Okay, so this is the Z transform of this particular combination of signals, and ROC will be the interaction of R1 and R2. R1 is the ROC of x1n and R2 is the ROC of x2n, and the interaction point or interaction region of these two signals will the final ROC of this particular combination of signals. This is linearity property. Then we come to time shifting property. What is time shifting property? Means signal, input signal, the basic signal x of n is shifted by k points. It can shift in the right side from the origin or in the left side. If signal is shifted in the right side to the origin, then it will be called delayed signal, and if it is shifted in the left side, then there will be a advanced signal. Okay, so if basic signal x of n, the Z transform of this x of n is x of z, then x n minus k, this particular signal is shifted by k points, then what should be the Z transform of this shifted signal? So now we are calculating the shifted signal Z transform. Okay, x n minus k z to the power minus n, the Z transform of this x n minus k from minus infinite to infinite range. Minus infinite to infinite range, this is bilateral Z transform because the 0 to minus infinite range is here and 0 to plus infinite range is here. The total range is minus infinite to infinite. So we substitute n minus k equal to m, n minus k equal to m, then n is equal to m plus k. Okay, so x of m z minus m plus k. Okay, put m plus k at the place of this n. So z to the power minus k is constant value. We can take it outside the summation. Then m equal to minus infinite to infinite x of m z to the power minus m, and it is the Z transform of this x of m. So z to the power minus k and x of z is the Z transform of x of n minus k. So there is k points, the shifting factor is k. Okay, so we can have z to the power minus k x of z. If k equal to 2, if we assume that xn minus 2 is the signal, then z transform of this xn minus 2 will be z to the power minus 2 x of z. X of z is the z transform of x of n, and z to the power minus k x of z is the z transform of x of n minus k. Okay, if k equal to plus 2 means xn minus 2 is here, then the z transform of this xn minus 2 is z to the power minus 2 x of z. And if it is xn plus 2k, then the z transform of this signal will be z to the power plus 2 x of z. Okay, so there can be xn minus k and xn plus k. Okay, so xn minus k, it should be xn plus k. It should be xn plus k. Then the z transform of that xn plus k is equal to z to the power plus k x of z. Okay, so we have an example of this time shifting property, that if x of n is equal to un, so the transform of this un, we know that this is 1 upon 1 minus z inverse, and shifted signal un minus 2, the z transform must be z to the power minus 2 upon 1 minus z inverse. If un, this is the z transform, un minus 1, the z transform of this un minus 1 is z to the power minus 1 upon 1 minus z inverse. Z to the power minus 1 means 1 upon z. Okay, and the solution of this term is z upon z minus 1. So one pole is 8, z equal to plus 1, this is plus 1. One pole is z equal to 0, this is z equal to 0, and 1 0 is 8, z equal to 0. Okay, if we substitute the value of this z equal to 0, then the whole term will be 0. So 0 is 8, z equal to 0, this is z equal to 0, pole is 8, z equal to 0, and z equal to plus 1. So 1 0 and this one pole is cancelled. Okay, the 0 is cancelled out by this pole. Okay, so x of n, the z transform is x of z, x of n minus k, the z transform is z to the power minus k x of z. So pole will be introduced 8, z equal to 0 by this property, which may be cancelled corresponding zeros of x of z. Okay, so corresponding 0 was at z, new pole was at z equal to 0. So this pole and this 0 will be cancelled out. Okay, so final ROC will be R. And what is R? The R is the ROC of this UN, the basic signal. Okay, so this final ROC is R, and except for the possible addition or deletion of the origin or infinite. By shifting property, we have seen that one pole is introduced because of the shifting of this signal by 1 point. Okay, so final ROC will be R except for the possible addition or deletion of the origin or infinite. Okay, next is scaling property. What is scaling property? If basic signal x of n having the z transform x of z, then a to the power n x of n will be x z upon a. Okay, and we have already seen in the previous lecture that there was some questions a to the power n u of n, where u of n is x of n and a to the power n is the scaling factor. Okay, so a to the power n x of n, the z transform is a power n x of n z to the power minus n. Okay, so z multiplied by this A inverse power minus n. Okay, so this is the Z transform of this x of n. So we can define it as x of Z by A. Okay, and ROC will be the R. This is the ROC of basic signal x of n multiplied by the factor A. Okay, whatever the A is, if A is 2 to the power n x of n, then A will be 2. So we can multiply R by 2. Okay, if A is 3, then the ROC can be multiplied by 3. Okay, so whatever the scaling factor, final ROC, the basic ROC will multiply by that particular factor. Okay, time reversal property. Next is the time reversal property. What is reversal property? Reversal means the mirror image of particular signal. If the signal is defined for a time axis 0 to 4, then the reverse of that particular signal is 0 to minus 4. If signal is defined for the range 2 to 5, then the reverse of that particular signal is minus 2 to minus 5. The mirror image of that particular signal is the reverse signal. So time reversal property means if x of n, this is the basic signal, the Z transform is x of z, then the reverse of this signal is x of minus n is equal to x of z inverse. How can we solve this property? X of minus n, z to the power minus n, the Z transform of x of minus n, the range is from minus infinite to infinite. If we substitute minus n equal to m, then n equal to, this is n equal to minus infinite, so it will be plus infinite, and n equal to plus infinite, m will be minus infinite. These two terms are equal. Z to the power plus m is equal to Z inverse power minus m. Okay, so we can define this whole term like x z inverse. Why x z inverse? Because the Z transform of this x of m, the Z transform of this x of m, where m equal to minus n, is x of z inverse because of this z inverse. Okay, so the reversal property, we can define this reversal property as if x of n is the basic signal, then the Z transform is x of z, and if we reverse this x of n as x of minus n, then the Z transform is, this particular signal is x of z inverse. Okay, and ROC can be defined as 1 by R. 1 R was the ROC of this x of n. If we reverse this signal, then ROC will be 1 upon R. Okay. Next is differentiation property. It is very important property. We can solve many type of questions by using this property. Okay, you can directly solve the question because the conventional method will be very tough for that particular signals if the form of that particular signals is x of n multiplied by n, or x of z is given to you and you have to calculate the inverse Z transform of that x of z, then you can use that differentiation property. Okay, and very easily you can solve that type of questions. So if Z transform of x of n is x of z, then n multiplied by x of n, the Z transform of this signal is equal to minus z d by dz of that x of z. If x of z is given to you, then just differentiate that x of z, okay, and multiply that x of z by z, then you will find the time domain signal. So x of z is equal to this minus infinite to infinite x of n z to the power minus n. Okay, differentiate both sides, d by dz x of z, d by dz this one. Then the differentiation of z to the power minus n is equal to minus n z to the power minus n minus 1. Okay, z to the power minus n, z to the power minus 1 x of n and multiply by n. This z inverse, we can take z inverse outside the summation. Then the remaining term n x of n z to the power minus n is the z transform of this n x of n. So z transform of n x of n is equal to n x of n z to the power minus n multiply by this z inverse. So finally we have minus 1 by z and z transform of this n x of n. Okay, so z transform of n x of n is equal to, we can take this 1 upon z as a multiplication factor of this d by dz x of z. So finally we are having minus of z d by dz x of z. Okay, and there is no change in the ROC after using this differentiation property. Okay, if there is u of n, if there is u of n, then the basic question will be n u of n. Then what is the z transform of that u of n? That is 1 upon 1 minus z inverse. Okay, then differentiate that 1 upon 1 minus z inverse and multiply by minus z. So that is the answer for n u of n. Okay, so you can use the differentiation property for that type of questions. Next is convolution property. Convolution is also very important topic, because without convolution we can't play with the signals in this subject signals and systems. So convolution is very important property. If two signals are convolved in the time domain, then after the conversion of that signals into the frequency domain, we can just multiply that two signals. Convolution is a typical method, but we can easily multiply that transformed signals. So x1n and x2n, there are two signals. That two signals are convolved in the time domain. That is equal to multiplication in the frequency domain. So just calculate the z transform of this x1n, calculate the z transform of this x2n, and then multiply that two signals. Okay, convolution in time domain is equal to multiplication in the frequency domain. There was same procedure in the Laplace transform also, where we have discussed x1t convolved with x2t, that is equal to x1s multiply by x2s. Convolution in time domain is equal to multiplication in the frequency domain. So in frequency domain, it's very easy to play with the signals. This is the convolution of two signals, the z transform, minus infinite to infinite. The formula of convolution of two signals is x1k x2n minus k, which we have discussed in the first unit. Two signals are there. The convolution of two signals is x1k x2n minus k. Just put this convolution in this equation at the place of x1n convolved with x2n. Okay, the same summation is here, and z to the power minus n. Okay, take this x1k outside the particular summation. Okay, n minus infinite to infinite x2n minus k z to the power minus n. This is a shifting property. Okay, this is shifting property, shifted by k points. So what is the answer of this term? X to z multiply by z to the power minus k. So finally z to the power minus k, x to z, the shifting property is there, x1k. Okay, now x1k multiplied by z to the power minus k, take it outside the summation, x to z. So z transform of this x1k is x1k multiplied by z to the power minus k. So this is the x1z, the z transform of this one, and x2z, the z transform of the previous term. So multiplication of these two z transforms are equal to convolution in the time domain. Okay, and the ROC is the interaction of first signal and the second signal. Okay, next one is complex conjugate property. What is complex conjugate? Complex conjugate means if we have some number a plus iota b, then the complex conjugate of a plus iota b is equal to a minus iota b. The real part will be same, but there is a change in the imaginary part. The change in the sign of imaginary part means if plus iota b is there, then the conjugate will be minus iota b. Okay, we can see in the example that if z equal to a plus iota b, okay, then the conjugate of this z is equal to a minus iota b. The real term is same, but there is a change in the sign of this b. Okay, so if z transform of x of n is x of z, then the conjugate is equal to x conjugate z conjugate. ROC will be same. Okay, if x of z has a pole at z equal to z0, it must also have a pole at the complex conjugate point z equal to z0 conjugate. Okay, and we can see the same thing in this example. So if x conjugate n, z to the power minus n, this is a z transform of this x conjugate n. Okay, we can take whole conjugate of this term. Okay, so the whole conjugate is there, x of n, z conjugate minus n. If we solve this term again, then this conjugate will appear at x conjugate n, and this conjugate will be cancelled out. Okay, so the same thing is there after solving this conjugate. So we can write this term as x of n, z conjugate power minus n, the whole conjugate of this term. Okay, so this is equal to x of n, z conjugate minus n. We can include this summation also, and the conjugate is there. So finally the z transform of x conjugate n is equal to capital X conjugate z conjugate. Okay, and ROC is same. So it's another very important property, conjugate property. And another very important property is there, that is the initial value theorem. What is this initial value theorem? If x of n, a discrete time sequence, is 0 for n less than 0, then the value of this signal at 0 means x of 0 is equal to x of z limit z tends to infinite. Means if for a causal sequence x of 0 is finite, then x of z is also finite as z tends to infinite. Okay, means if x of z is given to you, and you have to calculate the initial value of that x of z, then put the value of z equal to infinite, and the final value will be the x of z, x of 0. Okay, so x of z equal to this 0 to infinite. Why this 0 to infinite? Because x of n is 0 for n less than 0. So the final range will be 0 to infinite, x of n, z to the power minus n, so z transform. As z tends to infinite, z to the power minus n is equal to 0. Z to the power minus n means 1 upon z to the power n, and z equal to, if z equal to infinite, then the whole term is equal to 0 for n greater than 0, right? Whereas for n equal to 0, z to the power minus n equal to 1. Okay, so x of z equal to the z transform of x of n, since x of n equal to 0 for n less than 0. So we can solve this mission. X of 0, put the 0 at n equal to 0, x of 0 z to the power 0 plus x of 1 z to the power minus 1 plus x of 2 z to the power minus 2, and so on. Okay, put the limit in the x of z, limit z tends to infinite x of z is equal to limit z tends to infinite x of 0 plus z tends to infinite x1 z to the power minus 1. If we are having z equal to infinite, then 1 upon infinite is 0 and the whole term will be 0. It is also 0, and all the term greater than n equal to 0 will be 0. So finally we have the initial value theorem like x0 is equal to limit z tends to 0, z tends to infinite x of z. Okay.